Dreams by Langston Hughes. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field, frozen with snow.
Hi! We are from English Education Agency, Universitas Negeri Medan. Now we are going to show you how you teach poetry musicalization in ELT. Okay, first, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Alino Syareza Simatupang.
My name is Jumaida Saptarini.
My name is Irena Miranda Bersemiring Brahmana.
Hi, my name is Dinda Ayu Valencia.
Alright, I'm going to explain the first topic of this video, which is poetry musicalization. Check it out!
The first activity is brainstorming. In this activity, you ask your students to see the two pictures of a man reading a poem and three students reading a poem accompanied by guitar. The students are expected to find the difference between both pictures. The purpose of this activity is to trigger your students' mind toward the topic. From this activity, the students will know the contents of the lesson and the differences between reading a poem and poetry musicalization. The second activity is reading the materials. In this activity, you will instruct your students to read the materials and try to understand it all. The materials are definition, social function, generic structure, theme, and language features of a poem. The aim of this activity is to make the students more understand about the poem itself. From this activity, your students will know the definition, social function, generic structure, theme, and language features of a poem. An excellent understanding to this activity is important because this is the key to moving to the next activities. The third activity is individual task. In this activity, the students watching two videos of poetry musicalization. Then, you ask them to identify the social function, generic structure, and language features of the poetry from both videos. The purpose of this activity is to improve their listening skills and to make them able to identify the social function, generic structure, and language features of a poem. The fourth activity is a group task. In this activity, organize your students into several groups and ask them to compare the social function, generic structure, and language features of the poetry from both videos. The purpose of this activity is to make them share their opinions and thoughts with their friends. In addition, this activity also useful in perfecting their works, as well as build a good relationship with their friends. From this activity, the students will produce a conclusion of analysis and comparison of both videos. The fifth activity is individual task. In here, you ask them to find the messages contained in both videos. You also ask them whether those messages are important in their life or not, and explain their reasons if they say yes. The purpose of this activity is to make the students to find the implicit meanings of the poetry and connect them into their life. From this activity, the students will get the important values from both poetry. The result of this activity is a short writings of students' opinions. The last activity is individual task. In this activity, ask your students to decide the theme of both videos. For example, both videos has the same theme, which is dreams, but specifically, they are different based in their own message. The purpose of this activity is to make the students able to identify the theme of a poem.
Okay, now I'm going to explain about the pronunciation. Let's see.
In this activity 1, give your students an instruction to listen a simple video of poetry. You can get it from YouTube, of course. In this section, the students will observe the pronunciation of the poem. Thus, they will try to understand the type of vocabulary and listen one word at a time and be able to pronounce the vocabularies. In this activity too, try to ask them about what they have got from the video, and you can pronounce it with your students together. In this activity 3, you must explain them about pronunciation and how to pronounce better, so they can improve their pronunciation skills. In this activity 4, give your students an individual task. Students will do an individual task like how to pronounce and write the right answer. And the last activity, try to improve your students' pronunciation by doing simple things like a daily greetings. Students will do a pronunciation practice. You can guide them to the proper and correct pronunciation. It will be doing together. Teacher and students will be do the pronunciation together when it must to have evaluation from the students by a daily greetings.
Okay, next is about intonation and check it out. Okay, next is about intonation and check it out.
What is the proper way for the teacher to teach intonation to students? The first is to display the symbols contained in the intonation, as in the example in the picture. The second explains what intonation is in portrait and the symbols contained in intonation according to image below. Third, after the teacher has finished explaining everything, it is the turn of the students who have started to play a role in the first activity. Usually, the teacher gives individual assessment multiple choice regarding the portrait text that has been given. For the activity 4, students will do practice on pronouncing portrait intonation well, such as the following video example. And for the activity 5, students will be formed into several groups who are asked to analyze the intonation of the portrait provided by the teacher. And for the last activity, students will be asked to make portrait and read it in front of the class according to the correct intonation as told by the teacher. I hope that through this explanation or this guide, the teacher and students can better understand the intonation of the portrait. Thank you.
And now I'm going to show you how to make a portrait. Check it out. So, the first activity is the students are going to make or create several titles of poetry that aim to make the students are more creative and get used to arrange a good and unique title. Second, right and wrong statement. Through this exercise, indirectly, the students are going to remember rules or ways to prepare themselves when they're going to make a poetry, so they don't need to memorize the theory that's given, but they can understand with their own concept or sentences in their mind. Third, fill in the blank questions. The students are going to choose a match sentence or phrase or etc. into the poetry. So after that, the students can get a picture on arranging a poetry and add more knowledge about metaphor. The last, the students can evaluate their ability in creating poetry. Also can learn what problems they are facing through their feeling, so they can learn in a better way and build their creativity up by solving their problems. Thank you.